The other thing that scared the crap out of me is this is not a robustly built house. I don't know if you've experienced JTR subwoofers. Let's just say it's a different experience. I measured on Dirac down to 11 hertz. It liquefies this baby house. And I'm on the second floor, and I've got a lot of money in cars at any given time below this room, and I'm deathly afraid of something falling off the ceiling onto my expensive cars.
All right, guys, you have been asking for more family-friendly kind of living room style. This is not your typical dedicated home theater. We're here at Matt's house. We were doing some work over the weekend in the Obsessed Home Theater lab, and we had Cars and Culture at Obsessed Garage today. Amazing event, not far from Matt. I wanted to come by and see the updates that you've made in your room, so I thought we'd just give our guys a tour.
So I know this is non-conventional. This isn't, I wouldn't even call this a home theater, right? This is I call this office theater. So it's a hybrid. What I've wanted now, I'm limited. I didn't design this house. I didn't spec this. This was a cookie cutter home. It had this bonus room that's 12 feet wide by 27 feet deep with the, with the triangle ceiling. So it's not ideal, but it's what I got. And I'm sure many of you, same thing, it's what you got. And I wanted to have an office, and I want to be able to sit in my chair like this and watch my TV. And so I wanted a TV, not a projector, because oftentimes I have the lights on. I may or may not set my laptop up right here when I'm Zooming with Michael in our business meetings, and I'm kind of, looking at the TV while I kind of set the laptop so it looks like I'm looking at the screen.
Right.
But I wanted to have a office and then have a theater. And my long-term plan would be to build like a 45 by 28 foot with 15 foot ceilings, build an office theater like this, where my office was maybe up on a tier and then looking down into the theater, and do that someday. But really what I love is the gear.
Yeah.
I want cool gear in a simple room, and I want it to rip my face off, and I think we accomplished that. So let me show you what we got. So I got a bunch of GIK acoustics in here. I started with, I've had this for years. This was my 991.1 GD3. So this is GIK's art wall, where you can take a high-res image, send it to them, and then design it. And so these are 24 wide, 48 tall. And so this I'd set up early, so that way when I'm on a call, or I'm doing meetings, or I'm doing a podcast or something like that, it kind of have a cool background. I have my 2 diplomas that made it survive, my CFP and my Villanova engineering degree in the corner here behind the door that I can hide. But this area here set up is BDI desk. I've got Dynaudio Core 5 studio monitors with their Core Subcompact, and a pretty stout Mac Mini for editing. And then I have a Node Icon, which is the Bluesound's latest, high-res, high-end, Dirac capable 2-channel plus sub streamer, I guess you could say, and it has a USB-C, so I can then use it to act as my computer setup. And then I actually use an iPhone 15 as my webcam. It's the best webcam. I set it up in continuity mode.
Nice.
So BDI desk, what is this chair? It's a Stressless Magic. Just look that sucker up. It's awesome. My friend Joe Pichette turned me on to this. I thought it looked like an old man chair, but this is like the most amazing leather wheels. I think the floor is called Viterazzi, the carpet protector. It's a high-tempered glass carpet protector. And so BDI, Stressless, Dynaudio, Apple. So I have like the awesome little desk set up and on half the room, since the room's so long. And then the other half, I wanted to build a little family room type setup. I'm a couch kind of guy. I don't love theater seating. I love going like Michael's house or going to somebody else's house when you're going to watch a movie and it's a dedicated purpose. But I want to be able to just sit on the couch, lay on the couch. And because Michelle will come up here and watch some stuff with me, this isn't like the family entertaining area. This isn't the bring people over and watch a movie. This is my office. And so the concept is that I have a captain seat in the middle, so I can sit right here in the middle and get, right my center image. And then I can do, should I show them in real life? I can do one of these deals, like maybe having a meeting up here. We have meetings. Chase, let's come have a meeting. This is what we do. And so I want to be able to lay down and watch TV. So Michelle can lay that way and I lay this way. But then when I want to critically listen or watch something, I can sit here like so. And so first, second reflection points are taken care of by either the couch, the floor, or the GIKs on the walls or ceiling. So we have, I'm going over the boring stuff first, but maybe you can edit this.
I think this is all fun, man. I love it all.
So these are 242. So the GIK 242 bass traps, I guess you would call them. No scatter plates in these. So these are just the, I guess, full range they call it. So these are roughly 5 1/4 thick. So these are the 24 by 48s on the sidewall. And then because of the couch, I did the 24 squares on the left wall. They're at exactly the same position so that it looks, symmetrical, and at least it makes sense to me. And then in the front, I did. It's kind of a weird setup here in that there's a window right here, like every bonus room would have. And so who knows how long I'll be in this house. And so rather than us drywalling over the window, I bought a U blackout or U blockout shade, the ones that are advertised on Instagram. Actually pretty nice. And so there's a U blockout shade with a white background. So from the outside, it just looks like there's a shade. From the inside, it's black, completely blacked out. And then I did my 97 G2 OLED, mounted it over the window frame, which gave me a good solid surface because the frame has studs around it. And then I just took a GIK 242 panel and put it right here, right on top of the TV. That way you don't see the window. I didn't have to do any drywalling or anything like that because my original plan was to drywall over it. Right. So I put this on the center of the TV, which is a little odd, but I think it turned out okay to make it simple. So I'm nimble in case I want to move. And then I have the 242s, behind the front stage here. And then I've always done this in all my theaters, do a cloud, or what GIK calls the cloud. And so I bought, these are the Monster, which are 7.5 thick. So these are Monster full range bass traps on their cloud bracket. And then I mounted it to the ceiling. I need to add some lighting here. These lights are, I think they're 1,000 lumen from a company called DMF, 3,500 Kelvin. But I'm going to add 8 more to the triangle area that will point down. We need some more light, especially for doing meetings and stuff. I'm actually going to put 2 above my desk on a separate circuit so I can get quite a bit more light for when I'm not watching a movie or not doing meetings, as we call it. That's my plan for the lighting.
Well, you mentioned that this is the boring part, but the reality is a lot of people, I even did a poll recently, and a lot of people, even in a dedicated space, said they don't have acoustic treatment.
Yeah, I mean, this room would be pretty nasty without it. And our friend Matthew Pose had suggested, I was actually really excited about this, there was tile up here. Yep. And when we bought the house, they don't give you the option for tile or carpet. It's either vinyl or tile. I'm not doing vinyl. And so I planned on either carpeting over the tile or pulling the tile out and doing carpeting. And Matthew's like, no, don't do that. You're actually better off doing an area rug. And I found this fancy, this is from Pottery Barn. This rug is only $1,000. I'm going to say only, but in comparison to the rest of this crap in this room. And so I did I found, I think it's, I forget the company, but this is a memory foam pad. And then Pottery Barn, I forget the version, you'll see it. It's their, I think they call it Micro Plush, but it's not linty, right. And so I just like it.
Incredibly
cool.
soft.
Yeah. The only problem is you can't really vacuum it because it's so thick, and so I have the shoes off. Don't put shoes on here. The couch is a Lazy Boy Meyer. I was kind of limited because of the width of the room. I really wanted it to be another, say, 10 inches out. But now I have a nice, decent size, roughly 40-inch walkway. I wanted it to be a little bit longer because I'm 6'2", and this is a little bit short for me. But I couldn't get a couch that was exactly correct. And so, anyway, Lazy Boy, Meyer, and their performance fabric, fancy crap. Hopefully Chase doesn't mess. Look at him.
He's just chilling. Look at him.
Doesn't mess up. Chase, what are you doing, buddy? What are you doing?
He says, leave me alone.
So I don't think I'm going to need, and we listened to earlier, I don't think I need any more acoustic treatment. You need to be careful to not put so much acoustic treatment that you kill the room. Mm-hmm. There's still a little character in here, but I've been able to get rid of the echo. You can tell as soon as you walk in the room
100%.
when there's acoustic treatments, right?
Yep.
There's just as you close the door, it's like we're in a different world.
Yep.
It's a completely different place. To the point where I bought my Ubiquity NVR, my network video recorder,
Yep.
and it's crunching. I need to get it out of here. It's too quiet.
Yeah.
I'm going to put it downstairs on my ProListen system. But the concept of the room, this is what I had envisioned. Desk, looking out onto a TV, not a projector, because most of the time when I'm watching, I have the lights on up here. I wanted to get a large OLED. That was part of my vision. And I figured, yes, a large OLED costs a lot, but not as much as a projector would, and at least the projector I was going to buy. And so this becomes much simpler, much more temporary, much easier to break down. And I love a direct view display. And so I had planned to do JTR 215s. Now,
Thinking back, that would have been wild.
So the original plan, and this best laid plans here, right? Things change as you figure out what's going to work and what's not. But my original intention was to do 4 2400s.
Right.
This is the JTR 18-inch 2400 watt ported subwoofer. I had intended to do in the wall. And when I went into the attic and I looked at it, there's quite a bit of insulation surrounding the room. What I didn't recognize is that the attic truss and then the room studs are staggered. Mm-hmm. And so I had measured the attic truss, and I had 22 inches, and the subwoofer's only 20 inches wide. That's the other reason why I chose the 2400s over the RS1s. RS1s are, I think, 21 and change wide, and I think these are 20, something like give or take an inch. And so these would fit better within the dimension. But then when we pulled the insulation back, we recognized that the room is built on a different stud layout than the attic truss. And I don't want to go cutting trusses and cutting studs. And so I was like, well, I'm screwed. And you saw me going back and forth, navigating the trial and error chaos of trying to figure it out. What am I going to do? How am I going to do this? I'd actually ordered 4 of the new Kalos 12-inch subwoofers, thinking what I would do is I'd put a Kalos 12 in the corner and then just do the 210s in front of that, and just kind of try to tuck it as close to the wall as possible. And I'm going to do 2 more of the 12s in the rear, and then use the AV10 or AV20. I ended up with the AV20 from Marantz to discreetly calibrate my subwoofers and how it was positioned. The other thing that scared the crap out of me is this is not a robustly built house, and I don't know if you've experienced JTR subwoofers. Let's just say it's a different experience. I mean, when you get, I measured on Dirac down to 11 hertz, it liquefies this baby house. And I'm on the second floor, and I've got a lot of money in cars at any given time below this room, and I'm deathly afraid of something falling off the ceiling onto my expensive cars. And so I was panicked on the 18s. After having lived with it a little bit, I think I'm okay. And so what I decided to do was buy those 12s and then put my 10s. The 12s aren't coming for several months, so I'm like, well, let me just put the 10s in front of the 18s and we'll just deal with that. I'll tuck the 18s into the corner as much as possible. Then after having jank listen, it was just kind of janked together, listen to the 18s and getting accustomed to and getting them set up to where they're not destroying the house per se, or totally destroying the house. I'm like, man, I don't think I can live without these 18s, because the 12s are going to play down to 20 hertz. They're not going to play down to 10 like these will in room response. So that's when I decided, well, what I'll probably do is get some RS1s, and then I'll get the 210 reference. I'll get 2 more 10 reference, whatever centers or whatever you want to call these, the reference monitors instead of the towers. Yeah, the RM. I'll sell these, and I'll just basically sell the whole system and start over. And then that's when I was up here, I was looking at it, and I'm like, why don't I do this? And you guys are going to lose your minds. But I took the feet off of the base of the 210 monitors, and I measured. I said, well, if I did an RS1 is about 10 inches lower. And then if I take a reference monitor, the tweeter would have been roughly at reference height. And so I was just sitting there looking at it, so why don't I just flip over the towers, I called Jeff. I said, what if I flip these things over? He said, it doesn't matter. I turned them upside down, and then I put a couple of felt pads, which I'm going to have to remedy because they do kind of vibrate. The subwoofers do move a little bit. So I'm going to put some rubber feet on here. And so now, if you look at this, when I'm sitting in my position, my tweeters are actually more ideal than they are on the tower sitting on the ground. They're like exactly right where they need to be. So the 210 inverted is pretty freaking cool. I think it looks cool. I don't know about you guys. I mean, maybe you like it, maybe you don't. I mean, these are not pretty speakers. We all know that. Yep. These are just pure performance. These are something that I wouldn't, no offense to Jeff, but I wouldn't put these in my living room. I have a full Perlisten system downstairs, Perlisten R series, which I love. This is like a life dream. Could you imagine? Imagine 20-year-old Matt imagining I've got a crazy, reference level Perlisten system downstairs on an 83 OLED with primary amps. I have an AV20 Marantz, preamp powering that. And then up here, I've got the full JTR. So I've got my two great loves in one spot. And then I've got Dyne Audio sprinkled throughout the house. I mean, it's like I'm living a freaking bizarro dream world here, which is awesome. So because of I don't know how long I'm going to be here in this house. That's never really stopped me before from tearing stuff apart. But I wanted to tear apart as little as possible. And so my original plan is a closet behind my little, whatever, trinket wall over there, behind my cabinet, whatever you want to call that thing. And I was going to put a rack in. But then I've got to run a long HDMI run. I've got to rewire the whole room. I just didn't want to do that. I wanted to put a freaking TV on the wall, put my equipment below it. And so Salamander has this 12-inch high. It's 12-inch total height. Now, I raised the feet up a little bit, mainly because it wasn't covering the outlet in the back. But at normal height, so it's probably 12 3/4 of an inch tall from floor to top. And so that gives me the ability to mount the TV much, much lower. I could mount the TV even lower if I wanted to, but I wanted to clear sight line of the couch. So when I'm sitting at my desk, so I believe the base of the TV is at 32. I would tend to prefer to have the TV maybe another 6 inches lower, so my eyes are near the center of the display when I'm watching. But I made that sacrifice. I mean, viewing angle on a direct view OLED display is fine anyway. But I just don't want you looking up. I hate looking up at things. But I wanted the room, in case I wanted to do the 212 reference monitor here, I wanted the room, and because I have the gap with the 210, I was able to put the acoustics. These are the Aperta 300 series, I believe. So I have two Aperta 300s holding my center channel, which is the 210 RM. So it's the three-way reference monitor from JTR. This sucker weighs, like 70 pounds or 80 pounds. It's Baltic birch. I mean, you can hear how solid this is. And so because I don't have a ton of equipment, the 12 inches gives me plenty of room, and I've got room to spare to house my stuff. And the beauty of systems today is just so simple. I've got my old, you think you guys have been around a long time. You remember this puppy, yeah. Michael? The old HTS 5000? These were $5.99, I believe, back in the day. We used to sell these puppies.
Yep.
So I've got my old HTS 5000 Monster Reference Power Center. Kaleidescape. So I've got my Kaleidescape Strato V here. My server's downstairs in the living room. And then I've got a little network switch back there to cover all the network capability. Because I can't get to this wall, it's an exterior wall, the umbilical cord of speaker wire, so all the left speakers are coming out the side of the wall on that wall, because I have full attic access to the left and right of the room, just not the front. This is the very front of the house. And then I have all the right speakers coming down and a little umbilical cord down the right. Now, I have clipped the amplifier. The amplifier shut off on me a couple of times when I was really jamming on it. But this is the Buckeye Purify 3-channel for the front stage, for the left, center, right. And then this is the Buckeye 8-channel. And I actually opted for the 200 series from Buckeye because the 500 series, well, I didn't need that power, but it's also quite a bit taller. It also needs a choke, that bigger one. The Encore Hypex needs a choke for the JTR speakers because the how sensitive they are. So the 200 series actually worked out well for me. So Strato V, reference player, Apple TV for most playing, really simple. 2 HDMI cables, 1 HDMI cable to the TV, and then I have the AV20, the new Marantz AV20, which is awesome. I wanted AV10, but the AV10s are unavailable, and so I got an AV20, and the main difference between the two, they say that the internals are a little more robust than an AV10. The AV10 has Dirac Live bass control, and it has 15 channel. This is 13, so I'm okay with Dirac Live. I feel I can get the job done, and the footprint is the same. Still copper chassis, and it's a couple $1,000 less, so $6,000. And so $6,000 processor, $3,000 in amplifiers. And I mean, I'm freaking liquefying this room. It's incredible. So the Salamander, 12-inch tall, houses everything I need. I mean, what else do I need? Now, what I do have coming is a MadVR NV Core. Right now, I have my network video recorder for my Ubiquiti network. I'm going to pull it out of here and put it down next to my Terra server downstairs where there's more ambient noise because I can hear the thing crunching. So I'm going to put my MadVR NV Core on the left, and then I'm actually going to wire my outdoor speakers up here. So I've got some Coastal Source stuff coming.
Oh, you're going to love those.
Yeah.
I've heard them myself several times.
220 Razer 220s for my outdoor kitchen area, and then the Coastal Source amp. So I'll put the amp on top of the MadVR NV Core, and I'm rolling. And I'd planned to just pony up and buy the G5 97 OLED and pay the $25,000. And Best Buy had closeout leftover G2s. And I'm like, the G2 is a little long in the tooth. Yeah. But for $11,000.
Still beautiful image.
Yeah. And I tell you what, guys, I was freaking out because I got it. We mounted it to the wall. I turned it on. It looked horrible. Like unwatchable. I'm like, oh my God, what do I do? And the box I cut up and it was in the driveway and it poured down rain, ruined the box. I'm like, I mean, $11,000 is a pile of money, and I thought I lit it on fire. I was freaking out. I'm like, oh my gosh, I've got a TV. It's terrible. Well, it needed to do 9 firmware updates.
Oh wow!
It was updating for like 3.5 hours, and then it was okay. I'd say it's still okay. I have to have my my buddy John come and do ISF calibration. And I have my NV, we have to get Rusty through the 6 hours of training before they'll give me my MadVR. And so a MadVR NV Core, which will do all the processing for me. And then, of course, my beloved Kaleidescape. You know, let's just say for this video, so I can make the haters shut up, you shouldn't buy Kaleidescape. It's not for you. It's not good enough for you. But for me, it's one of my favorite things I've ever bought. I have not had so much fun in my life, other than maybe the first go around collecting discs, which I don't have any anymore, buying movies.
You've got a crap load of. How many do you think you've bought?
650.
650 movies,
yeah.
And you've owned Kaleidescape less than a year.
I figured I have a 48 terabyte Terra server, and then 2 Strato Vs. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, and you're going to put one in the garage, you said.
I'm thinking about putting the new M series, is it?
The
E series.
E.
The M is the one that really hacked everybody off. That's the 1080p version. You don't want that. So I'm going to maybe possibly put the E series in my garage. And the only problem is I don't have I didn't run any Ethernet there, so maybe I won't put it in the garage. But it's one of my prized possessions is the Kaleidescape. I'm telling you, I freaking love it. And I'm like, there's no way. I'll just buy discs. Or I'll just watch it on Apple TV. It's the same thing. Just buy it on Apple TV and you can store it in the cloud. It'll be great. It's not even close. quality, the audio, video interface. The only thing I don't like about it is there's no CEC control, and I like to just use the Apple TV remote, so I got to get my phone out every time I watch it. Michelle doesn't really know how to use it. Again, she doesn't know how to switch inputs. Nice thing about Apple TV, I press the button, everything just works. And there are really no remotes yet.
We're going to find one.
Yeah, we're in search of a remote since our beloved Harmonies disappeared, right? They no longer support it or no longer make it. I guess they still support it.
Well, a little bit. Yeah,
it's dying off, dying a slow and painful death, but you can't buy it anymore. And so the concept of having Kaleidescape Apple TV, very simple, having hundreds and hundreds of movies, it's kind of dumb because I think I maybe have 5 movies that I bought that I haven't seen. So I've seen them all, but I like this. I like to come up here and just search through and say, what do I want to watch? And I bought them all on special pricing or on sale, and so it's 600 movies, an average of $1,500 a piece. What is that? $9,000. I don't know how much money into these two systems. So to me, I guess you could argue I don't own anything. Whatever, I've wasted more on stupider things. So I know it's not for you, but for me, I think it's freaking incredible.
One thing that was interesting, we were up here doing demos with Manny and Rusty and Manny's wife, and you had stepped out or something, and the movie or the clip had stopped, and so I just pulled out my app
and grabbed it,
and I was able to control your system from my app.
It's awesome. The whole thing is awesome. I don't care what anybody says. I certainly don't care. I have it and I love it and I get to enjoy it, and I don't have to complain about it. So the system is, what do we have here? So we have the 2 subwoofers, so .2. I have the 4, blame Michael for this, not me.
Okay, let's talk about the elephant in the room.
We have 4 height sort of channels.
Well, you got a weird kind of shaped room up here.
It's a weird shaped room. I said we should put them up high.
He was thinking maybe up here.
The concern was the
angles.
Swings past your head when you're sitting here. But because of the ceiling, we got kind of a wonky setup here. And so we had to make a decision. Do we want like direct sound coming at us, or do we want the possibility of it, of it going past? My vote was for it to do it higher. We probably should have listened to me, but now there's a giant hole in the wall in the roof because these are JTR 110 HTIWs.
IWs in walls.
So in walls.
Yep.
It's not an in wall. It's a big honking 337-pound, bookshelf size speaker that you just cut a hole in your wall. You've got to have 8 or 9 inches of depth to fit it, and we built a frame around it. But now the cool thing about it is, check this sucker out. I've got a full 110 that's not obtrusive in the wall, and I put some.
It almost looks like an acoustic panel.
Yeah. And
so it blends in really nice.
I put some super Velcro on here. And so there's our 110 with our tweeter in the middle.
So that's a 10-inch coaxial driver, which is insane.
I did a system, a 5.1 system or 5.2 system up here. No Atmos, no rear channel, just this typical 5.2. Actually, technically a 5.1. It was just 2 subwoofers with a Y adapter on it. And it freaking ripped with just these. And so now, with the giant front stage, I'm rocking and rolling. But I put the grills on them, so now they look like they're acoustic treatments. So you got the 2 side surrounds, the 4 heights, and then I have my slants, one of which, again, this is very common. You have situations in your room where it's not ideal, where it's technically firing off of my cabinet there. But those are the slants. You can't buy these this way, so don't get too excited, but that's a special veneer. You guys have been watching the channel for a while. You've seen us mess with this stuff. Our friend Joe Pichette did this fancy wood veneer on them, so I stole them and put them on my wall here because it matches my whole setup. So those are the back surrounds. So we have 7, so the 7 bed layer. We have the 4 height channels, the 2 subwoofers. I did pre-wire. You can see my XLR coming out the wall here. I did still keep those 4 Kalos 12s on order. So
guess where they're going.
I don't need more bass. I just need more dispersed bass, I think. And so what I'm probably going to do, and I'm going to play with this, but I'm probably going to do is I might just line the 4 up because they're only 18 inches deep.
Right.
So I may line the 4 up and put them near field against my couch. Or I may just do 2, one on each side of the room here. I'm not sure, but I'm going to play with that and see how it goes. Again, the tactile response, I mean, you felt it.
This was the first time I've actually experienced the 2400s. This isn't the ULF version.
Yeah.
It's
Second
wild.
floor, yeah.
It's wild. So I have 418s. I would think that you probably have as much tactile bass with 2 up here on this floating floor than I do with 4 in a sealed cabinet on concrete floor.
Yeah.
So you're getting some massive added benefit.
Because
it's a really cool experience.
We're on a second floor.
Yep.
Yeah, so for the only things I plan to change or possibly add the subwoofers, I'm going to put my Coastal Source amplifier for my outdoor speakers and the Mad VR. So I'll get Mad VR, then ISF Calibrate. So John Ruffermato will come and ISF Calibrate me. I have some more, I have 8 more lights to do in here so I can get this properly lit. I don't think I need any more acoustic treatment. These monster bass traps on the ceiling have really killed. I would love to put another light fixture here. The problem is there's a truss right there, and that's right where the fan is. So I'd have semi-symmetrical lighting. But because of the truss layout, I can't get it quite perfect. I have to touch up a little bit of paint. But I think this is going to stay put like this for the foreseeable future. I have to add the rubber feet to the speakers because they keep shifting a little bit.
Yeah, I was concerned. I'm like, okay, I kept getting up to check. Okay, they hadn't moved, so we're good.
They move a little bit. And so I just don't want to forget about it. All I need is just some rubber.
Yep.
The other thing Manny suggested, maybe I'll just put a row of that super Velcro on there and they're not going anywhere. It's just a tiny bit when the subwoofers are really boogieing.
Yeah.
The subwoofers aren't moving, but the fronts are, just from the vibration of the subwoofer. But I love it, man. I need another 20, especially when I put that Coastal Source amp up here too. When I've gotten over 70 on the Marantz, on their 70 to whatever, or their 0 to 110 or whatever their scale is. If I get to negative 70, I end up with a little bit of the Purify amp will go into protection, so that means I don't have enough power. So I'm going to put another dedicated 20 up here, so I have 2 20s. Because combined, having those subwoofers and then the 2 amplifiers and the TV's probably using quite a bit of power. So once I get that licked and the lighting, I'm pretty pleased. I think it's a pretty awesome setup.
This is a really, really cool, it's a cool vibe. It's not a enclosed tomb like some people, they think, man, I don't want to do a dedicated theater room because then it doesn't feel like a family room. But this, honestly, my wife would love this.
This is what I would call OE plus. You take your OE room, your original equipment room, and then you bolt on stuff to it with a minimal modifications. This is very similar to what I would do with a car. I'm not pulling the engine, doing swaps, putting superchargers on. I'm just bolting stuff on.
Right.
I'm going to bolt on a suspension and calibrate it or tune it, set up the ride height. I might put some wheels and tires on it. I'm going to do the same thing to my room. We did cut some holes to put the surrounds and heights in. But I kept the drywall piece that we cut out, and I can put it back in, and we'll patch the drywall. I ran some wires, but I didn't. It wasn't building the room inside of a room. This is the kind of home theater that I like. This would be an OE plus. This is like a couple levels below what many of you are used to seeing on the Youthman channel. The Star Wars theater and stuff like that. I could do that. It's just not me. It's not my style. I could buy a Singer, but I would just rather have a OE plus 911 and keep the rest of the money. You can go to different extremes. This is the level that I like to go to, which is still many levels above the normal person. But this is the type of room I like. I don't want theater seating with tiers. I just want a couch. It took me a long time to figure this stuff out. because I've lived my whole life like I got to get to the best. I got to get to the end. I got to have a singer, and I've got to have like a crazy Star Wars level theater. That's where I'm going. And you get to a certain point in life where you realize, I just really love an M3. I just want an M3 BMW. I don't want a Huayra or a Koenigsegg. It's not what I'm aspiring to get to. You kind of figure out what you like, and this is what I like. And I wanted an office theater. This is my room. No one else in the family gives a crap about any of this stuff. And they are happy. They don't even care about the listen system downstairs.
Yeah, they'd be okay with a little TV or a sound bar. Be fine.
They would be fine with a console TV on the kitchen counter. They don't care. Shoot, my kids just watch on their phone, for gosh sakes.
Yep.
But when I do, Michelle will come up here occasionally. She loves the comfort of the room. And my favorite part of the room is this stupid Pottery Barn rug. It's so comfy. It's so awesome. So anyway, that's my office theater, a Mormon office theater. And I think it's going to stay like this for a little while. And I love the speakers. I love the Kaleidescape. I love the furniture's nice, and I like my desk and the whole vibe, the whole setup. This is what I was aiming for. Once I get a little bit more light in here, I want that headroom. I'm feeling great about it. So anyway, thanks for you guys got to see this journey a little bit as we've gone through this.
Yeah.
But thanks for watching, and I hope you won't flame me too much on my upside down front towers. I think it's genius. I was so proud of myself for doing that, man. I think it's smart, and it looks cool too. So you gotta like that, though.
Yep.
You gotta like that. That in my family room, even I wouldn't do that. It would look stupid. But in this dedicated room up here, when you walk through that door and you're looking like, what the heck is going on here?
It works.
It just makes me happy. So, thanks everyone.